Welcome to the B2T Show, where we empower Christian patriots with truth. This is Rick, your host. Welcome here, guys, on Monday, February 24th. Talking about Cain speaking out, a Clinton whistleblower, Obama whistleblower. We are on the B2T Show here again on February 24th. Glad to have you all here. We've got quite a few people already on. Thank you so much. Scoob in from Central Texas. We've got Carol Hamilton's in the house and ready to rock. I love it. Williamsburg, Virginia's in the house. We've got Delaware, Florida in the house. Where else are you guys all from? We see, I just love to see when all these international people come on, etc. So this is Dublin. I love it. Keith from Dublin. You just got to love that. Kansas City's in the house. Arkansas's in the house. Multiple Casey's. Dave from New Zealand's in the house. Thank you guys all for joining. I appreciate it. Lubbock, Texas, Legal Aliens here in the house. Goochland, Virginia. We got Arizona in the house. Really appreciate you guys all joining. We're going to get rolling here. We've got some new Q that just came out within the last hour. We've got Laguna Beach, California, and SoCal in the house as well, in West Virginia. Love it. All right, let's get rolling here. You'll look here, if I look at the actual Q post here, at 3880. And let's think about it. We're almost at 3,880 drops. Prepare for the storm, Anons. And then we get two new ones that are lengthy and meaty. We'll go over those in a second. First, I want to just talk about Donald Trump going to India. Did you see that? The biggest cricket stadium in the world, 125,000 people in the stadium in India. So this reminds me of Clark Prasad, who's one of our followers here and watches the show frequently and heavily on Twitter, and he was just so proud. So I played his video yesterday of him opening up a bubblehead. Donald Trump, it was funny, but just really cool to see this happening with Trump. And you can see right here, let's just play this little 1 minute video real quick.
The true strength of India is found in the soul and the spirit of the Indian people. The story of the Indian nation is a tale of astounding progress, a miracle of democracy, extraordinary diversity, and above all, a strong and noble people. This nation is blessed with many treasures. It is the home to some of the most cherished cultural heritage anywhere on earth. Indians and Americans are always striving to be greater. Our people are always seeking to be better. And so our nations have become thriving centers of culture and commerce and civilization, giving light and vitality to all of the world. The First Lady and I have just traveled 8,000 miles around the globe to deliver a message. America will always be faithful and loyal friends to the Indian people.
And there's just so many people celebrating and cheering in this huge stadium. And so one of the Anons says, yeah, 110,000 white supremacists in India. Thought that was funny. And so you look at this and you get to see, look at this, it's completely packed. So great, some great reports here. You'll have some of this in the Blessed to Teach show notes, again, at blessedtoteach.com, plus with the number 2, teach.com. But hey, my sponsor is Rate Family, guys, and these guys have done some great work here. So I think that if you really go back and think through the death of a family, it can be really hard. But unfortunately, all have to deal with it sooner or later. All of us have to leave behind final expenses such as funeral costs, medical bills, and other debts. In fact, the average funeral alone is between $8,000 and $9,000. Having no insurance when you die can leave your loved ones with a huge bill to deal with, and no one wants that. Take control of your family's destiny today and have the satisfaction they will be financially taken care of. So visit ratefamily.com. That's ratefamily.com and get a free quote. You can select the best plan to fit your needs and budget. Burial expenses is very easy to budget for. You can even choose how and how often to make payments. Some members pay as low as $36 per month due to income level. Visit ratefamily.com or you can call 1-855-919-RATE. You'll be glad you did. Again, that's 1-855-919-RATE, R-A-T-E. All right. Let's get to some of these Q posts real quick. You look here at this new one. The first new one was 3881, and a repost, a 1218 drop that was talking about fired forced underscore FBI, fired forced underscore DOJ, fired forced underscore state, fired forced underscore Senate, fired forced underscore Congress, fired forced underscore C underscore A, fired forced underscore DOD, hired install Supreme Court, hired install Federal Judiciary, hired install DOJ, hired install C underscore A, locked and loaded Q. Just emphasizing how much they had to clean. And then Q amplifies on this. He first has a tweet here, and this is this Nate Cain person who he's talked about several times before, a whistleblower on the Hillary Clinton email scandal, as well as Obama was doing in the weaponized FBI, as he was a contractor for the FBI. Says, and Q says, listen carefully. Now, this is like, I think, a 28-minute video or something like that. So if you go look at the tweet, but I think it's important. If you look at this, it says, new broadcast, interview with Nate Cain, FBI whistleblower. Nate Cain tells his story like never before. A true American patriot talks about the risk he took, the war on his family, Q and faith. Let the world learn the truth. You can go right here and you can actually get the full video here and for YouTube, and it looks like it's 49 minutes, right? About 50 minutes actually. And a great interview, worth your time. I've gone through it once, but I wasn't able to listen carefully because I was preparing for the show. So if you guys find any big insights, let me know down in the comments as we'll dig into that. But it's clear that the FBI and what happened to him was like another General Flynn story. Just sad. They came down on him, even though he didn't break any law. He was protected by the Whistleblower Act, but everybody knows his name. They ran hit pieces on him. So unlike Eric C., the fake whistleblower, here's a real whistleblower that they treated like crap. And the FBI continues to illegally do things they shouldn't be doing. It makes me just wonder about what in the heck Ray's doing. But anyway, this is a great interview by Bards of War. Congratulations for getting queued. And it was funny because Nate Cain, actually, right here, you can click on him and actually see him. That's where I got the picture for the back of my screen here and the thumbnail. And he only had like 12 followers on Twitter before all this happened. And then he went to like 40,000 in 2 weeks. Now he has 51,000. Got worth following. He's talking about the broadcast as well. Does some good other deals. He's a big Christian. My pastor James passed out after getting home, and his wife had to call an ambulance. So, he's basically talking about his pastor and a lot of other things, but he also gives us great news, like boom, 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 right? Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to stomp your throat again because a vision of God is softly emerging, lest the seed's not sprouting, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains. Light MAGA and the sound of winning. Trump flips the Ninth Circuit Court. Leftists in panic mode. Legacy judges violates ethics to complain to the media. So just like we got Shifty Schiff breaking all the rules and leaking like mad. Now you got the leftist judges who are revisionists actually breaking their rules to go to the media as well. And so it's really interesting what's going on there. But he was basically saying, listen to this. And I'm not, again, since it's 49 minutes, obviously I'm not going to play that, but you'll see the link here on qmap.pub. You'll also find it on blessedtoteach.com in the show notes. But Q is saying, listen carefully. Think regarding why no arrest justice yet. What if almost every critical position senior within the U.S. government apparatus was infiltrated? And that's exactly what this guy's talking about. He figured out, okay, I'm going to actually show this, but what am I supposed to do, right? And so, those are the type of things that we have to think through is if you're a whistleblower and you're trying to figure out who you can trust, the CIA was monitoring everything, and that's what he shows, is that and even when he did some things correctly, actually went to Horowitz, other people, he still got nailed and had to have lawyer fees and max out his credit cards and basically destroy his family. Q continues, says, what must be done first? The swamp runs deep. Plus sleepers. Backgrounds are important. Muslim Brotherhood. List of the news now names with known ties to Islam. So again, list of in the news now, and it's underscore, and the names is bold and in brackets, which is interesting. And this is not another 4-year election. And in brackets again, assumptions correct, package well received, known. So I think that's saying that all this package that Nate let out was received, and they know who all the names are that are actually have all these ties to the Muslim Brotherhood and are just sleepers, and then the swamp runs deep, right? So this talks about how there's a lot of work to do still, and so that is something that we are going to have to really think through how much time this is going to take, right? So I don't think any of the rest are going to happen until after the election, but I do think that there'll be tons of exposure that will be waking up America. The Great Awakening is going to happen, I believe, before the election. It's just not going to be, and we can't have the rest until the Great Awakening actually happens, in my opinion. There'd be too much danger on left and right thinking people, still controlled by the mainstream media, hurting each other, potentially out with guns and everything else, right? So the summary of 3881 is Nate Cain, Clinton Foundation whistleblower, tells his story like never before. So take a listen to that. I think you'll enjoy it. Then the last one we got was 3882, and this was a state gov document. It says insurgency, and it's a quoting from the document. It's a big long document talking about this insurgency study they did. Insurgency is the organized use of subversion and violence to seize, nullify, or challenge political control of a region. The presidency of Barack Hussein Obama began at noon EST on January 20th, 2009, when Barack Obama was inaugurated as the 44th president of the United States. What country was a true intended target? Q. Well, I think the true intended target was the United States to take it down. And look at that, January 2009. So they were waiting for Obama to get in there, and then they were going to unleash the Saul Alinsky tactics on the U.S. And this gives a full list of all these different departments that were weaponized under Obama, that all were giving recommendations about what a counterinsurgency guide is all about. And it's really interesting. I read through the preface and scanned most of it and then read through the conclusion. But it's all about using all these different types of things. You can see the executive summary talks about theory and principles, the components of the Coin strategy. And the actors, effective government, so they're basically targeting the government, the U.S. country team, the international community, then they use the intergovernmental organizations, the non-governmental organizations, the private sector, all to attack the country that they're trying to take down. And they got the chat assessment and planning, and then they have this conclusion. So I'm going to go to page 49 to talk a little bit about this conclusions. Look at that. So you go, sorry for the scrolling for those of you looking at your screen, but that's page 33. We're almost there. It's page 49 we're getting to. So you can, there's 45, 46, 47. So here is the 40. Here's the conclusion right here. So it's got all these pictures as if it's a different country, right? But the whole point is effective, and I'm going to blow this up, see if I can get this even a little bit bigger for you guys. No, it's not going to let me do it because it's a document. Effective counterinsurgency requires multifaceted and integrated operations that apply. I don't know if my son needs to make sure that he knows that I'm going live. So it says effective counterinsurgency requires multifaceted and integrated operations that apply civilian and military capabilities across information, security, political, and economic functional areas. The goal of intervention is a COIN campaign is to help an affected government achieve control over its sovereign territory by establishing, developing, and consolidating legitimate, effective governmental institutions. The U.S. can assist an affected government with strategies that combine information, security, political, and economic elements. Before committing to engagement, careful consideration must be given to the affected government's legitimacy, its willingness to reform, and general political and economic viability. Approaches ranging from augmented teams through advisory support, civil military assistance, foreign and internal defense, and direct coin intervention are available and historically proven. So they've proven that they can take these countries down, basically. And now they put it all on the U.S. I think that's the major point, is what we get to here. And it's pretty crazy. I'm going to refresh to see if there's anything else came through. And we'll do a little bit more analysis on Nate Cain here. So that's the last one. So let's look at Nate Cain, because he was earlier Q post as well. So what you do is you just go to qmap.pub. You click the menu to actually go to enter a search term, and you say, quote, Nate Cain as an example, and boom, it gives you 3 drops, right? I might be a little, and then you go Command F again, and you can say Cain, and 6 matches. I'm going to go backwards. So here's the first one back on 2578. It was back on December 10th, 2018, right, where they showed a tweet by Nate Cain. And the summary of this was FBI raid on Clinton Foundation whistleblower necessary to safeguard people and evidence. So this is interesting that, that was this actually the black hat FBI or was it the white hat? So here's Nate Cain saying, update, keeping my head up. Staying strong in the Lord. 22 days since the FBI raided my house and still no answers and no return of my equipment, which means I still can't work. God, please bring vindication and please expose those involved. Don't allow any evil to befall me. Amen. And Prayed Medic back on December of 2018 was, thank you for your sacrifice, Patriot. We owe you a debt of gratitude we can never repay. Praying for you. Where we go one, we go all. So this was a tough part. Now, if you look at this, Q says, sometimes intrusions have a way of safeguarding people and evidence. Sometimes intrusions are a necessary event in order to safeguard chain of custody. Post OIG, whistleblower status plus doc handover protocols. Active criminal investigations of this magnitude must be handled with extreme care. The moment your name went live, there was no other choice. Keep the faith, Patriot. You are never alone. Q. And he was just really upset, though, because he was actually having to they were reading his wife's diary, something he hadn't even read, right? And so it's really kind of scary what they ended up doing. But I think the earlier part is what's most upsetting to him, is all where they were trying to entrap him, and he should have just said, and anytime you're talking to law enforcement, even if you're innocent, you need to say, I need a lawyer. Because they can, even before they read the Miranda rights, they can still use that against you in court of law and set up a perjury trap for you. So those are the kind of things that he talks about in his interview. But this clearly showed that it may have been a white hat FBI raid, which was kind of interesting. So if you keep on going back to each time we see the word Cain, you can go to the next one, was posted on March 11th, 2019. Here's another tweet, and it says, stay in the light, remain in open comms with Senator Graham and Grassley regarding Whistleblower Protection Act. They will take your phone calls. And this is back to another one of his tweets. Says, some very suspicious things have taken place today concerning my family. I can't get into the detail, but it left us all more than a little disturbed. Please pray for us and for our protection. For the public record, I am not suicidal, am in good health, and avoid risky behavior. So this Nate Cain is another one of those Michael Flynn type characters. Obviously, Michael Flynn got really railed, but it looks like Nate may have just got caught up in a mess based upon white and black hat war here that we're looking at. It says, stay in the light, remain open comms with Senator Graham and Grassley, Whistleblower Protection Act. So even though he had that, they still turned his life upside down. If you keep going back, you can see where the next one was, and that was today, which we already read. But so Nate Cain's had a rough couple of years. Keep him in your prayers. He's a Christian man who loves the Lord. Prayed about this to actually capture a lot of this information. you'll see in the interview that not only did he capture information on the whole email scandal and all the investigations they were doing, he was also went back and got more when it had to do with uranium-1. So this guy found some great information that obviously is now in the right place, but there was a lot of failures in the process, and you'll see how. And I think the Q's major point here is that there's a huge swamp here, even though they were trying to help him here, and they did probably help him, and because of the open investigations, we're able to capture all this information, that it was rough out there because of all the swamp creatures and all the deep state criminals that are controlled in this process. So anyway, that's how I interpreted that. If you have any more insights, let me know down in the comments below. And if you're on the YouTube channel, or send me an email at theblessedtoteach.com. Let me get into some other stuff here. Look at this. We're watching the death and control. We're watching the death of the control matrix in real time. This is really kind of cool. And we have front row seats thanks to Q and Q+. Enjoy the show. So they're talking about this tweet that was pretty classic by old school 2A. It's a Wyatt Austere deplorable. But it says, shadow government revealed. New world order vulnerable. Elite occult trafficking exposed. Banking cartel spotlighted. Hollywood illusion shattered. Media empire crumbling. Mass awakening beginning. We're watching the death of the control matrix in real time. Whew. So that's why I think you guys need to enjoy this. I know a lot of people are going to know nothing's happening, right? There's a segment of the population there, but the mature people who understand how God works, understand how a military operation has to work, knows that these things take time, and this is likely going to be many more years. But we're going to see military tribunals, I believe, in 2021 and 2022. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But we need to be, as the praying remnant, to pray that this goes as planned, right? Because we have a military operation that's got all kinds of different angles it'll go depending on how the enemy reacts. And all these different type of things, like the virus, is a good, obviously counterattack by the cabal. But I think it's going to be an amazing result because we have it all, and we have God in control here. That's why I just really say, get to know the Lord is the number one thing you can do to protect yourself. Don't just focus on survival and preparation, or focus on keeping yourself healthy and not have the Lord, because the Lord is the beginning of all knowledge. He's also the one that can really protect you. He took Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, right, and from the fiery furnace. He took Daniel from the lion's den. So I mean, you're talking about ferocious islands that ate everybody that you threw down there, and he was fine. So when you have the miraculous power of God protecting you, nothing's going to hurt you. If God doesn't want you, hasn't called your number, you're not going, right? That's the beautiful thing. Here's this vote February 24th Q discussion, and so it's got the two posts there you'll see, and there's always a lot of discussions here. That this person says Barack Hussein Obama and all the Dems and some Republicans were in on the whole scam. Traitors, right? He named Muslim Brotherhood as bad people, straight up infiltration from the last admin. Lancet Magazine 2 days ago, Cosensi says, world COVID-19 infections 60 to 80%. Yeah, it's going to be real interesting. We'll be looking at a little bit more on the whole virus here at the end of the show, as well as next Saturday. Don't miss next Saturday. Mark that down. We're going to have Christian W., who has a ton of contacts in China. She lived in Singapore. She's Asian, and so she's going to give us a lot more scoop. And what she's finding is really scary about what the Communist Chinese Party is actually doing. It's like, woo! Yeah, projection's exactly right, Gene. We got tons of projection going on. That is for sure. If we look back at This, Trump flips the Ninth Circuit Court. Leftists in panic mode. Legacy judges violates ethics to complain to the media. So they're actually coming back to the media and complaining. On February 12th, President Trump had his 189th, 190th, 191st, and 192nd judicial nominees confirmed by the Senate. 51 of his judicial nominees have been for the federal appeals courts, and 10 of those have been on the now formerly heavy leftist Ninth Circuit, where Trump has made 10 appointments in 3 years. He has effectively flipped the Ninth Circuit from whack job leftists to sane, and this has whack job leftists worried bigly. And so you can see here that the LA Times whines. So Town Hall notes that 1/4 of all federal circuit court judges are Trump appointees. When Trump picks, and so this is complains and whines about the whole thing about how the fact that these guys are actually adhering to the Constitution instead of being revisionist like they want to be. So I'm not going to read all this, but it's a really interesting article that I think you'll enjoy. Hold on. Sitting judges are speaking to media, gossiping about other judges to the media. Turns out they are violating their own ethical standards by doing that. So that is the big headline here is this Trump derangement syndrome causes people to do things that they would never do, like Adam Schiff constantly leaking everything that can be possibly, I guess, painted differently or twisted to be anti-Trump, right? And anything that shows the true deep state corruption, he never leaks. And then you got people like Nunes and honest people that don't leak it either. So this is just a cancer that's going on, that's being exposed, and people see it. But, it's destroying themselves. Why get in the way of an enemy that's destroying itself, is the saying, right? Here's a U.S. appeals court upholds Trump rules involving abortions. So here's this Ninth Court and actually supporting the abortion funding issue that Trump is going on. So this is another huge win. A U.S. appeals court on Monday upheld Trump administration changes that included additional hurdles for those seeking abortions through a federal program that helps low-income women. The 7-4 ruling by the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals overturned decisions issued by judges in Washington, Oregon, and California. The court had already allowed the administration changes to begin taking effect while the government appealed those rulings. The rules ban taxpayer-funded clinics in the Title X program from making abortion referrals and prohibit clinics that receive federal money from sharing office space with abortion providers. A rule critics said would force many to find new locations, undergo expensive remodels, or shut down. So it's winning everywhere. We're winning everywhere. And this here's Praying Medic, just making sure everybody knows this as well. And this is a little bit different article, the way it's worded. I kind of like how this wrote it. So it talks about breaking Ninth Circuit Court upholds Trump's rule that led to Planned Parenthood losing $60 million. Remember that? So this is big, guys. Basically defunding Planned Parenthood, no taxpayer-funded abortion. This is winning, is what this is. And the fact is that the Ninth Circuit Court upholding a Trump rule, I mean, come on. There's no way that would happen 2 years ago or even a year ago. So this shows that this is a godly thing happening here, where God's hands on the president. He's supporting religious liberty like mad, and he's putting in judges that uphold the Constitution and will uphold the rights of unborn children eventually. So we're starting to happen. Here is we talked about the Nate Cain thing already, so let's move on to this. So and we read that article. So here is an update from we went over all these. These are all the Nate Cain things that we just went over. Make sure I catch up here. All right, now here is another sponsor is Noble Gold, guys. These guys have some pretty awesome offerings to get an IRA, right? That's precious metals. I think the 1,000-point crash in the stock market based on the coronavirus and other things. Well, the gold is actually going up, right? So it's interesting to see. So if you talk about gold. There's a reason that's been around for thousands of years on an investment, and that's its simplicity. Nothing's complicated about gold. You buy it, you get a tax relief on it, you store it, and it protects you against inflation. You sell it when you retire, and it keeps you safe and secure in your senior years. That's it. Noble Gold have hundreds of testimonials from people just like Stephen S., who said, quote, "Buying gold was an adventure into uncharted territory for me. Frankly, I was very nervous that I would make a huge mistake, overpay for the precious metals, and go down with the ship. But Andrew and the team at Noble Gold quite literally took me by the hand and led me through the maze. I can sleep better knowing that they have my back." End of quote. Sound like a plan? Call Noble Gold now at this 877-646-5347. They'll have your back too. Again, you can see it on the screen here for those of you who are on YouTube, and it's 877-646-5347. Here we go. We know who okayed the coronavirus 14 to fly back U.S. with uninfected. And so, in case you missed it, so it's been confirmed by multiple interviews during the weekend as well, was 328 people on the flight. But Robert Cadleck, Assistant Secretary of Preparedness and Response for Department of Homeland and Human Services and a member of the Coronavirus Task Force, pushed back. Officials had already prepared the plane to handle passengers who might develop symptoms on the long flight, he argued. The two Boeing 747s had 18 seats, cordoned off with 10-foot-high plastic on all four sides. Infectious disease doctors would also be on board. We felt like we had very experienced hands in evaluating and caring for these patients, Cadillac said in a news briefing Monday. I think Trump got really angry at this, that the CDC said they recommended against it, and the State Department still did it. The State Department made the call. The 14 people were already in the evacuation pipeline, and protocol dictated that they be brought home, said William Walters, Director of Operational Medicine at the State Department. As the State Department drafted its news release, the CDC top official insisted that any mention of their agency be removed. So they're trying to hide it, and here's a whole article about it right there. But scary stuff that you have these idiots not doing what's best for us, right? And so these virus-infected Americans are flown home against the CDC's advice. Whew. Here's Anon talking about child porn predators finally get just sentences in Lake Charles, Louisiana. And it's interesting. So this former pastor from Westlake, LA, of Bellevue Baptist Church got 60 years in prison. Thank goodness, guys. This is the deep state church that Mark Taylor talks about, that we have a pastor involved in pedophilia, right? Just like we have some priests. So it's just not the Catholic Church. It is all church denominations. Another case in the same article, a teacher gets 97 months plus 10 years probation for CP. Our courts are starting to enforce the laws. This is why Trump had to clean up the judicial system first before mass arrests could take place. And a couple of other articles here and some other things about going on. Draining the swamp means draining everything from business to schools to government employees, all the way up to former presidents. Amazing things can happen when you have the right leadership in place, like our beloved president, Donald J. Trump. All right, so that is, again, our laws being enforced finally. Obama DHS whistleblower found dead with gunshot wound to the chest. Sounds pretty suspicious there. And so Philip Haney, former Department of Homeland Security official during the Obama administration who blew the whistle on shortcomings with his own agency, was found dead in California on Friday with a gunshot wound to the chest. Several news outlets report citing a statement from law enforcement. So we still have a silent civil war going on. We need to pray through this and fight this. Here's Lori Hendry. It says President Trump tweets that sentencing for one older man, Roger Stone, was unfair, and the media screams injustice. And then Gavin Newsom overturns life sentences for 800 inmates convicted of murder, rape, and other horrendous crimes, and the media is silent. This is just a great example of why I suggest you all get on Twitter and follow these people and retweet these things to get the message out about waking up everybody to this fake news media, to this criminal cabal controlled media. Here's Shifty Shift. Trump accuses House Intel chairman of leaking details of the Russia briefing. This is funny. So Trump is got his bully puppet open, his pulpit open, right? And he says, here's his 7:55 tweet a couple days ago. It says, just another Shifty Shift leak. Isn't there a law about this stuff? As the CBS Catherine Heritage talks about exactly. And in there, they twist it and lie about what the intelligence community is saying because they know it's confidential and nobody else can say anything. So basically, only the dishonest people are getting out to the press, and the press is just willing to print anything that's negative on Trump, even if they have almost no evidence. Just like they're talking about the Russia things all back up again. It's like just crazy. Now, Rush Limbaugh, saying coronavirus is being weaponized to bring down Trump. So we don't want to panic here because what Russia is basically saying is that if we all panic and we are going to go right into the deep state's hands who's trying to hurt the economy before the election, as an example, right? So that's one thing that we can look through. We'll have a lot more information again on this on a Saturday report with Christian W. and Gene. I think we'll be on there as well. And we'll give you our biggest update in detail on the coronavirus. I'll give you some of it right now. You have... Here is this 45,206. You can see this is high traffic's being hit here. They've had the first death confirmed in Europe. Officially, there's 1,118 that have died from the virus. That can be a lot higher. We'll give you more details on the map when that comes back up. But you have the link to it in the show notes as well. As coronavirus cases surge worldwide, the Dow plummets 1,000 points. The worldwide death toll from the novel coronavirus has risen to 2,612. So it looks like the deaths have gone up quite a bit since this report here that was frozen and hasn't been updated lately. So 2,612. But some people are thinking there's millions in potentially infected in China, and that there's a lot more worse things going on there that you're going to find out on Saturday with Christian W. with her reports from firsthand people. Now, Italy locks down hotspot cities. The World Health Organization says coronavirus not yet a pandemic. And so it'll be real interesting to see here as we dig into what's actually going to be happening with this. But it's obviously scary, and we just need to be prepared. So backstage, I have a full health document that I went over about how I'm feeling so good with just some supplements, plus the sun gazing, plus just really on my kind of keto type diet. And it's just been an amazing transformation of how healthy I feel. And I go over all the details with links of everything I'm taking that you guys will be able to see. I just started incorporating the hydrogen peroxide cleanse. Haven't done the saltwater cleanse that Gene suggests, but all Gene's health documents are the back there. Mine's back there. So if you really want to get detail on that, I'm going to try to pull that all on a front stage on my website eventually. I'll have a health tab. But I want to vet it with the backstage people, get it cleaned up, and we'll be launching that on front stage here pretty soon. Hey, don't miss all your backstage people. Do not miss the exclusive Gene did tonight. You would not believe what water piercing radar or water penetrating radar actually shows you. Gene found about this 4 months ago, and you will see things about Atlantis and other lost civilizations that are undeniable. It was just shocking to me to see that. So don't miss that. I'll have the recording up tomorrow morning. I might get that up late tonight, but worth watching that with Gene on backstage. He is also going to have exclusive scheduled for now for Thursday for the Gene Unleashed part. So again, join us. Go to the backstage, and you'll enjoy that there. Let's see here. But hey, guys, but it is a smart. I'm so happy that I've been with My Patriot Supply for almost 2 years, helping me just keep people prepared. Because you want to be prepared to be able to stay in your home for at least 6 weeks or more without ever going to the store, right? You want to prepare before the store shelves are empty. And that's why getting food at a big discount that's real high quality, that comes in these nice containers, right? And you can get a 2-week emergency supply for only $87, 4-week supply for $100 off. This gives you literally 2,000 calories a day, 16 food varieties. Again, they're in the up to 25-year shelf life, and they got resealable Mylar pouches. So just awesome stuff. And again, this is preparewithrick.com. So you want to go to preparewithrick.com there. And then obviously you want water to make it with. This is the one that has been out of stock 3 times, but they have it in stock now. It's called waterwithrick.com, the Alexa Pro Pure, that gets rid of viruses and bacteria out of the water. It's where heavy metals, fluoride, chlorine. Some people who are using this as well as a water distiller. So if that's a double benefit. But you put the water here, goes through this filter. You can put up to 4 filters in this one unit, and it'll go a lot faster, last a lot longer. And you get pure fresh water down here. And in about 2 hours with the one filter would be 4 times as fast if you use the 4 filters. But again, this is $100 off now. So go to Water with Rick or Prepare with Rick on those. Again, you get all my show notes here, right here. We're going to go over Mark Taylor prophecy here next. And obviously, those of you who want to join Backstage would go right here, and you would join Backstage, and it's still 30% off only until Friday or Saturday. I guess it's Saturday, the end of the month. And this will go back to the regular price then. So if you want the special, again, this is only $7 a month if you do a year in advance. That's the Blessed to Teach. The Backstage with Blessed to Teach. But hey, there's a lot of stuff here. You can send me an email as well right here by going to Contact Us is the best place to go to contact us. And you can send me an email and join the email list right here. All that easy. I'm also on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and SoundCloud. And I'm going out on the road speaking now. So if you know you got some suggestions for me about podcasts I should be on, or even live speaking events, I'm ready to roll on the message about this deep state and how the red-pilled Christian patriots are the remnant and how we can become impactful, right? That's going to be the fun part. All right, let's get to a Mark Taylor prophecy here. Talked to Mark the other day, and he's doing good. And I'll try to get him on probably a couple weeks here. This is the America prophecy, one of my favorite ones from October 7th, 2015. So just think about that. This is before Trump was elected, and look how bold he is on his predictions. And I was just watching the election that night, and when things turned and Trump became the president, it was like I was almost in tears because I'd been studying all these 20 plus prophecies of Mark Taylor. And it just convinced me that God is behind this movement before Trump got elected. And wow, and this was one of the prophecies that was just moved me. It says, the Spirit of God says, America, America, oh, how I love thee. America, America, oh, how I have chosen thee. For as England was to the D-Day invasion, so shall America be for my end-time harvest. For England was the headquarters, the hub from where the D-Day assault was launched. So shall it be for my America, for the end-time harvest. For as England had men, women, equipment, food, money, weapons, and supplies of all kinds, which poured in from all over the world, so shall all those things pour into my chosen America. America, I have chosen you as a launching platform for the worldwide assault on the spiritually oppressed peoples of the earth. People will say, how are we chosen? It's as if America is frozen. Am I not the God of the universe and all creation? I have heard the cries from my people that have sought my face, and I will heal their nation. People will ask, how will I do this? I shall do this in 2 parts. And before getting to those 2 parts, just look how encouraging this is. I mean, this is God's heart saying, America, America, how I love thee. And that is pretty awesome if you just think about that. And just the fact that he says he's heard the remnant and that he will heal our nation. Whoa, how encouraging is that? So the 2 parts about healing the nation is, first, the Spirit of God says, army of God, out of the darkness, I command you to arise and take your place. Again, to me, the army of God's are red-pilled Christian patriots. It's you and me. God's calling us out. For I've given you extra time, mercy and grace. Go, go, go. Do not slow down. Begin to take and hold your ground, for there's no more time to waste. America will once again be the great light. The enemy will say, oh, the light, it shines so bright. There is nothing else left to do but take flight. And indeed they will. The sign will be a mass exodus in the natural as the spiritual flee. So this is real interesting. I think this is going to be what happens after Trump's second election. You're finally going to have people really leave the country. The people that have the biggest Trump derangement syndrome that aren't criminals are going to leave the country, and the criminals hopefully are going to be arrested, right? But it'll be really interesting. So that I think that mass exit sign is going to happen after the 2020 election. That's my prediction anyway. And he says, second, the Spirit of God says, the gatekeeper, the President of the United States is the spiritual gatekeeper. I have chosen this man, Donald Trump, and anointed him as president for such a time as this. Can you not see this? For even his name, Donald, meaning world leader, spiritual connotation, faithful, Trump meaning to get better of, or to outrank or defeat someone, or something often in a highly public way. This man I have chosen will be faithful world leader, and together with my army will defeat all of America's enemies in the spiritual and in the natural. You will see it manifest before your eyes. I will use this man to shut gates, doors, and portals that the past present has opened. I will use this man to shut gates, doors, and portals that this past present has opened. He will open gates, doors, and portals this past present has shut. My army shall not be silenced. They will begin to see he is the one I have chosen. They will begin to rally around him and keep him covered in spiritual support. As you gain ground, they will say America is not frozen. Gosh, I love this prophecy. The seeds. Why is no one asking about the seeds? What about all the seeds America has sown since her birth? America has never received her harvest. For I will use President Trump and my army to bring back to America all that she has sown. This will be used for my harvest. America will prosper like never before in her history as a nation. All of the financial seeds you have sown around the world, food, clothing, 90% of my gospel that has gone throughout the earth has come from my chosen America. Her blood has been spilled on foreign soil to free the oppressed so that my gospel could go forward. America, your harvest is here. It shall parallel with your spiritual harvest in the natural. So do not fear. The Spirit of God says, the border is a 2,000-mile gate that's flowing across with demonic hate. I will use my president to shut this gate and seal it shut. It must be shut. Then I will use him and my army to root out evil structures that are still there, to the point that the government will begin to call on my army. They will prophetically locate these structures so they may be dismantled before any evil can take place. OPEC, take a hike, for I'm tired of your evil energy spikes. When my president takes office, you will shake and quake. You will say America no longer needs us, and that is true. For she will be energy independent for my red, white, and blue. For a sign will be given when prices go low. For a gallon of gas will be $1.50. and below. There's a bold prediction. Obviously, part of that already has come true with the energy independence. The Spirit of God says, the Supreme Court shall lose 3, and my president shall pick new ones directly from my tree. Are you still not convinced that he's my anointed and that he's the one I have appointed? Why can no one figure it out? The news media, the people, and the so-called wise. Why, when he's attacked, do the poll numbers rise? Those who attack him, their numbers go low, even to the point of a big fat 0. It's simple to see this man I have appointed, for in my word is your answer. I said, do not touch my anointed, especially my prophets. If you are still not convinced about what my word says, another sign will be given. It will be a warning to all, especially to those who will not listen. The Spirit of God says, this sign will be El Chapel. Your evil has come to an end. Who do you think you are attacking my anointed? Turn yourself in and repent, and I will spare you. If you do not, you and those that follow you will surely die a very public death for the entire world to see. For no one touches my anointed. I, the Lord, am an all-seeing and all-knowing God. I will be the one to disclose your location, the den that you and your vipers hide in. For time is short, and the spirit of death is at your door, and the world will see your dead body and the red shirt that you wore. Whew. That is America, America, prophecy by Mark Taylor that he gave on October 7th, 2015. Just filled with a bunch of prophecies of some have already come true, and some that I believe are becoming soon, true very soon. It just shows that we are, as America, being used for the great harvest. And the remnant, God's army, red-pilled Christian patriots, I believe, you and me are being called to go take ground and keep it. How exciting. Obviously, the last part of that is conditional, and whether Chapo repented or he's going to escape again and then start calling Trump names or something. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. But boy, all this other stuff is amazing. Like the fact that Trump, that there's going to be, energy independence. Just think about, if when the new energy comes, I can see gas going down to under $1. If we have all this new energy is released from these, that's basically makes energy almost free, right? And the government will call on the army. That means the government's going to start wanting us in service to help clean up all the mess. After the gates are shut, you get that 500-mile border cross, he gets reelected, and then we can clean up the mess. And that's why I think that's when a lot of his army is going to be put maybe to help with the military tribunals, as well as go find the evil that still exists here. And many others are going to, I believe, leave voluntarily. And that's going to be this mass exodus that they're talking about right there. Mike Q, thanks. Dark to light. God bless us all. Where we're going one, we go all. The best is yet to come. Well said, Mike Q. I love it. All right, let's end with a scripture. This is Joshua 1:9. And I just think this is good to hear with the coronavirus going on and all this type of stuff, is that we shouldn't be in fear. And this is what he told Joshua back in the Old Testament. He said, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. And this just reminds me of what's happening in China right now. There's Christians out there preaching the gospel, handing out masks without masks on themselves, handing out masks, and actually preaching the gospel to these people that are desperate to hear it right now. And many, many people are coming to Christ and aren't getting affected. That is a testimony And so God, I believe, is using this as a judgment on the very strong cabal that was a Lee family line, if you go back and trace it. And it also is a communist Chinese party, one of the most evil regimes to ever exist, the CCP. If you go look at what they're doing to their people, probably worse than what Russia did. Worse, it was the Soviet Union, I'm sorry. And just if you go back and just look at history, it's a lot of evil people, obviously. But when you look at the details of what the CCP has done, it's one of the worst. But what's God telling us? I believe He's telling, He can just turn this into a statement for us today. He tells us, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. What a promise. That if we just love God, He will be with us wherever we go. What a great promise. If you look at Philippians 4, 6, and 7, I always love to talk about, we don't have to be anxious about anything, but in every situation with thanksgiving, by prayer and petition, we lift our requests up to the Lord. And what's the promise there? The peace that transcends all understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Woo! The peace of God that transcends all understanding. Just think about that. That's why He's telling us not to be afraid. So remember, it doesn't matter how healthy you get or how much you prepare. The most important thing He wants to have your heart. That will protect you more than anything. Then obviously you want to go prepare. And you want to get yourself healthy. And that's why we're giving you all these tools to make that happen. I'm as healthy and strong as I've ever been in my entire life. I can't believe it. The Natural Doctor, I play a video of his. Don't miss out on Backstage as well. But I'll get that on Front Stage once we get it all tweaked. And I'll have a health site there that'll allow you the links to. Well, I'm also looking for cheaper sources for things. Like one of the Backstage persons found a cheaper source for this vitamin C, because you don't want absorbic acid. You want to actually get vitamin C from the actual plants and from the fruit, right? And so we found some cheaper ones. So I'm adding to the whole document. So there'll be new. I think I'm on version 7 of it now. I'll continue to improve this health document and eventually turn it into a web page that'll be available to everybody. But for those of you who want it right away, go join Backstage, and we'll see you then. So Gene's saying, being right with God and Son is foremost. That's right. That's exactly right. Let me pray. Heavenly Father, just thank you so much for Joshua 1:9 to tell us that we do not have to be afraid. We do not have to be discouraged. That in fact that you will be with us wherever we go. Thank you, Lord, for that. And you've actually not just telling us that, you're commanding it. You're commanding us to be strong and courageous. You're commanding us to not be afraid. You're commanding us to not be discouraged. And that you promise us you'll be there wherever we go. And like Philippians 4, 6, and 7 says, you will give us the peace. Give us a peace from God that transcends all understanding. Woo! I want the peace of God that transcends all understanding. All we have to do is present our request to you with thanksgiving in all situations. And we don't have to be anxious about anything. Whew! Gotta love the Lord. Thank you. Use us, Lord, as the remnant. Use us as your army. Allow us to be effective and impactful to our friends and families. Thank you, Lord. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, guys. Really appreciate you. You are awesome. We had a Backstage with Gene at 7:00, so it was a little bit late getting started here. But I didn't do Backstage for this one because I'm tired. And I have to work real early in the morning. Actually, I'm doing good as far as feeling good, but I need to be up extremely early. But you guys are wonderful. I love it, and can't wait to see you next time. God bless. You've just listened to the Blessed Teach Show. You're now empowered with the truth. Don't miss the edited short B2T clips on a new channel called B2T Clips. A big thank you to all the supporters on Patreon and PayPal. You are truly appreciated. For the links to these sites, as well as links for show notes, Backstage with Blessed to Teach, training courses, and more, visit blessedtoteach.com. That's blessed with the number 2, teach.com. God bless, and be sure to go empower others with the truth.